beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. So as promised, I have another client tutorial for you guys on Jade today, and we did this amazing purple cut crease type smoky eye using the new Anastasia palette. So I'm just going to get straight into the video. So for brows, I'm just using the Boho Brows Brow Pomade. This one's in the shade Medium Brown, and I'm just using a brush from that brand as well. So it's just a really fine eyebrow brush, and basically just really lightly filling in her brows, mimicking her natural stroke, so not making it look too harsh. Then to set the brows in place, I'm taking Boho Brows Brow Soap, and this just makes sure all the hairs go in the same direction, and it just creates a really fluffy brow, which is what I'm into recently. Now I'm just grabbing some concealer. I'm pretty sure this one's just the Nars Creamy Concealer in Custard, just with a Models Prefer concealer brush, and I'm just using that to define her lower brows. Then I'm just placing that concealer pretty much all over her lid, and this will act as a primer. And then to set the concealer in place, I'm just taking the Rimmel translucent powder and just really packing that product on just to create a smooth surface for eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow palette that I used today was the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera palette, and oh my god, it is stunning. I was a little bit scared and nervous going into this because I don't usually work with bright colors, and every time I do, it doesn't really turn out as pigmented as I hoped, but these colors are freaking awesome. So the color payoff and the pigmentation of these eyeshadows were just amazing. So I'm going in with the purple shade first and just really focusing that on the lid, just really building up the color until I like the intensity of the purple. I really wanted this eye look to be super intense, so I'm just really packing on the product until I'm happy and just blending it in the crease as well, trying not to deposit most of the product above the crease. Then I'm taking the hot pink, and this will be my transition color, so I'm just taking a little bit of that and just using that to diffuse the purple edges, so it kind of looks like a pinky purple gradient, which I think looked really cool. And I'm just blending that away until there is no harsh edges. Then I'm taking the matte brown from the palette just to define the outer corners a little bit more, give it a bit more definition and depth. So I'm just going in with a narrower sort of brush and just really focusing that brown just on the outer corners and then blending it out. Then for the half cut crease, I've actually never done a cut crease on Jade before, and she's never had one done to her before, so this was a bit exciting. Sorry, my face was in the camera for the first eye, but pretty much all I'm using is the Louise Base in number 2, which is just like really thick concealer, and I just used a concealer brush, and I just, as you can see on the second eye, cut half the crease. So I'm just doing that, and then I'm just blending that out with a brush. I kind of like the way it blends out because it kind of gives like a gradient, but that doesn't really matter because we're going over the top with a pigment. So what I'm doing next is taking the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal eyeshadow. This one's the gold one. These are stunning. I use them all the time on myself as well. I'm just using that as a base to put on underneath a pigment that I'm going to use, and the pigment that I'm using, well, it's actually a loose highlighter. It's the new So Hollywood Anastasia Beverly Hills loose highlighter, and I'm just packing that straight over the top. Works really, really well as an eyeshadow as well as a highlighter. I use it as a highlighter as well, but I just think it looks absolutely stunning on the eyelids too. Then I'm just going in with the Australis Amy Winehouse cream eyeshadow, and I'm just kind of going over the cut crease line just to make it extra sharp and just a little bit more defined. You couldn't really tell on camera, but if you look up close, you can kind of see that white sort of detail. So yes. And then I'm taking the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Edition palette and just taking the matte black. I love this black. and I'm just using that to define her top lash line. Just because we won't be putting on any falsies or liner, I just decided to do this just to create a little bit more fullness on the top lash line. Then I'm taking the new Dewy set, which is from Anastasia Beverly Hills as well. The foundation I'm using is the Clarins Skin Illusion. Since Mia Connor used these on me, I bought some for my kit and I'm obsessed. So I mix the shades 113 and 111 to get her perfect shade. I just love how, I wouldn't say it's like super full coverage, but it is like definitely a buildable medium coverage, but just the look of it on the skin is just amazing. It just looks like you're glowing from within. Like it barely even looks like you're wearing foundation. That's what I love about it. It does have, as I said, medium coverage, but you could probably build it up to a full coverage, but I just love the finish of it. It's just absolutely amazing. So if you haven't tried it, or go get a sample to see if it works with your skin, I would highly recommend. So pretty. I'm just using the Iconic London Illuminator drops and then just blending that in. And then to set that, I'll use the So Hollywood by Anastasia Beverly Hills loose highlighter straight over the top. I love to go like excessive with this because I just think it looks so amazing, especially in flash photos, or if you have a special event and you're taking photos, it just looks so gorgeous. And even in real life too, it just makes your collarbones pop and stand out, which is what I do as well when I go out. I love doing this. For concealer underneath the eyes, I'm taking an old favorite, the Nars Creamy Concealer in Custard, and just blending that underneath her eyes. I don't like to apply too much underneath the eyes because it can become a bit cakey, so less is more when it comes to under eye concealing and highlighting. Well, in my opinion anyways. To set the concealer underneath the eyes, I'm using the Dermablend Loose Setting Powder. You don't have to use a lot of this because it is quite white, but just patting this really gently over the skin just sets it really nicely in place, so I like it for that. Then I'm taking this Hourglass Vanish, sorry, I'm coming a bit close so I can see the name. Champagne Flash is the highlighter stick. I just did a little swatch on the back of my hand so you guys can see, and oh my god, I love using this as a base. I don't normally do this to every client, but when someone has skin like this and I want to accentuate her skin, then I use this underneath a powdered highlight. And I'm taking this Hourglass palette and taking the bronze shade and just using that to warm up her cheeks and then around the perimeters of her face, and then again on the sides of her nose and then along her jawline. And I can't forget using Hoola by Benefit to contour, so I'm just using a smaller brush and just really getting into her cheekbone area to define it a little bit more. Then I'm just going in with that same Dermablend powder and just using that to bake underneath her contour. Then using another old favorite, my Sweethearts blush by Too Faced. I just love this blush so much. It's so glowy and it just looks beautiful on the skin. I'm just applying that to the apples of her cheeks. Then I'm taking the So Hollywood highlighter again, spraying my brush with a bit of that dewy setting spray and just applying this to the highest points of her face. So on her cheekbones, above the arches of her brow, down the bridge of her nose, and then on her cupid's bow as well. I'm going back in with the Riviera palette. I'm taking the purple and I'm starting by smoking out the lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with this color first, and this is just going to be like my base color. Then I'll go in with the pink and use that for a transition. And then I'm just building up the color to the intensity that I want. Then I'm taking the matte brown from the palette and using that to define her lower lash line as well. Then I'm taking this Morphe gel liner called Vitamin C. I've never used these before, and I use this on her waterline because I just thought it would pop with her blue-green eyes, and it absolutely did. So I'm just really packing that on her lower lash line and in her waterline as well. So after I place it in her waterline, I took a little bit of that gel on a brush, this brush right here, and I'm just really pressing that underneath her lower lash line and then blending it out with the purples and the pinks from the palette, as you'll see me do in a second. Then for mascara, I'm just going in with the Benefit Bad Gal Bang and just applying that on her lower lashes. Because she's got eyelash extensions, I didn't touch that. Then for her inner corners, I'm taking my favorite Australis cream shadow in the shade Amy Winehouse. And then I really wanted like a pure gold inner corner, so I took that gold out of the palette, and wow, did this pop. I really loved how this looked. Then for lips, I'm taking my favorite lip liner, the Gerard Cosmetics Cher, and then I'm taking this gold limited edition Marc Jacobs lip gloss. I didn't use any lipstick or anything. I just simply used the lip liner and blended it into the lip gloss. Then I finally set her face with some more of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy setting spray, and this was the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, learnt something new, but I 100% would recommend that palette if you're wanting to experiment more with color, or if you want a really good quality purple and pink eyeshadow, then that is a palette you need to buy because they are so easy to use, easy to blend, really pigmented and buttery. Oh, I just love Anastasia Beverly Hills products. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Yes, I did.